how the two bad guys, their legs look like such like rectangles. It didn't look, like they look so flat and squarish.
Like prepare for trouble.
Those two,
And
make it double. I don't know the rest. I forgot the rest too. Those are the only words I remember now that you said it.
Yeah, now I can't remember either.
Yeah. But I was like, why are their legs so square? And then you look at Digimon.
Rockets blast off into outer space.
It was just so much more formed. And I was just like, yeah, the drawing for this is so much better. And I like that the Digimon talks to them. I was like, finally. Because I was like, I don't speak Pika. I don't speak Jiggly. And I was like, how is she saying Jiggly? Exactly. I don't speak Squirtle. So I was like, how is Squirtle saying Squirtle, Jigglypuff saying Jigglypuff, and Pika saying Pika, and they understand each other? It blew my, it didn't make sense to me when I was a kid. I was like, how are they understanding each other when they're like speaking different words? They're just speaking their name in different emphasis. Like, it literally bothered me, and I was like, yes.
It's the same way that Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it either. I am Groot. Oh God, I don't know. I guess it's because it's a tonal language, but you're just saying the same thing over. And I was like, I am is English. Anyway, I love Digimon. I was like so into it. I never watched the new iteration, but
I haven't either. It makes me want to go back and rewatch.
I know. I was so into it. I love the characters. Especially the first season with all the different people. I love the angsty character. There was like these two brothers. One, I forgot their names.
We're brothers. We're happy and we're singing and we're colored.
He had like this wolf one. He would always remind me of Sasuke. You know those like moody, brooding anime characters?
Yeah, I can't remember which one was the brooding one. I only remember like the main dude. Well, it's like in my mind's eye, I can only like picture. Like
his name was Tai. The main one was Tai. And he kind of looked like, his hair was kind of like Dragon Ball Z-esque. And then he also kind of reminded me of Naruto too. Did Naruto have goggles? No, Naruto didn't have goggles.
But he had goggles, I think.
He had goggles, yep. And then he kind of reminded me of the main guy on Pokemon too. He kind of reminded me of, like, it's a mixture of
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ash, yes.
Ash Ketchum.
Yeah. He reminded me of like a mixture of people. So I just was like, yeah, but I get his character. And then you had the Sasuke one that was just like his nemesis. Not nemesis, his like rival. They were all supposed to be on the same team.
His foil.
But yeah, now I might go back and watch Digimon because it was a really good show.
It was good. We're recording, by the way.
Oh, hey.
What's
up, everybody?
Hey, everybody. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Yeah. So, yeah, sorry, guys. We had a little bit of a hiatus. We were supposed to have produced an episode earlier, but Bola was dealing with some family issues.
Life happens.
Life happens. So, but we wanted to make sure we came back with our 2 episode a month thing. We promised that. So y'all just gonna do what? Y'all gonna get 2 episodes a week this week.
Double whammy.
Y'all gonna get 2 awesome episodes this week. And I just was telling Whitney that this month is our caper heist theme. Okay?
Yeah.
We love it. And so for today's episode, y'all, we are gonna be talking about Lupin. Yes, I know you know it. I know you're excited. I can just feel you like, yeah, I love that show too. Yes, we love that show as well. Lupin, I'm sorry, I keep saying it the French way because I took French in school and I love French, the language. So I'm always like, Lupin. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? Lupin. I'm like, okay, got it.
Now, I say Lupin as well, but only because there was an anime called Lupin the Third.
And then, of course, everyone knows Lupin as well from Harry Potter. Lupin was a beloved teacher.
Oh, yeah. But
the wolf.
No. But I say Lupin.
Okay. So I like to say it in the French. I was like, Lupin. And I was like,
when I watched it, I rewatched it in preparation for this episode. But when I first started watching it, I watched 2 episodes and then I kind of fell off because I get show ADD and start skipping around. And then
That's why I don't know why you binge, because it's like when you get show ADD, it's like just follow up like once. Like, the shows that come out sequentially, where it's, like, one after the next week, I feel like that would be better for you than to just binge all at once. Since you do get show 80, you'd be like, let me go watch this. But it's all available to you, so you know you can watch it later. When if you don't know, you could just watch it at once, and I'm like, okay, next week, there's another episode. I just think it'd be better for you.
I like my way. But anyway, like I was telling my mom, my mom was telling me about it, and I had actually already watched like maybe a couple episodes, and she was telling me about this show, and she was like, "Yeah, it's got the dude from the Blacklist on there." I was like, "He was on the Blacklist?" She was like,
"Was he on Blacklist?"
Apparently, he was in like a couple episodes of the Blacklist, I think. But she was telling me about it. She was like, "Blah blah blah," and I'm like, "Oh," I was like, I'm not used to you watching like like subtitle stuff. She's like, "What are you talking about? It's not in subtitles, it's in English." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's in French." She's like, "I watched it in English." And I'm like, "What?" But apparently her settings are like, I guess, set for like English no matter what the thing is.
Yeah. So
and I was like, and I, being a purist,
yes,
like I always want to watch in the original language, and I will read.
Me too, and that's me too all day because I've always grown up watching. I love hearing languages. I don't know why, it's just a thing with me. I love hearing languages, even if I don't understand it, I just like hearing it. Whether it's music, movies, songs, I love it. I will even learn a song in another language just so I can like form different words with my mouth. Be like, yes. The
only song I can think of right now is like the what was it called? Dragostea, Blesha Blesha, Numa Numa Ye, Numa Numa Ye, Numa 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 Ye, Dragostea.
Oh yeah. Wow. Man, I wish we had a clip of that just so you could hear what we're talking about. It's an old song, like
that was from like high school.
I don't even know. Was that like a song for a game?
I don't think so. I remember because like one of my friends like introduced it to me, and I saw like the music video, which this is actually very appropriate. Happy Pride Month, everybody, because that music video is so gay. It's awesome. It's like rainbows and everything. It is fantastic.
I need to find the video. I don't think I ever watched the video, but I've heard that song because it's like, I'm not gonna lie, it has like an annoying like repetitive tune because it's like
Allô? Salut?
And you just like, what was that?
That was the beginning of the song. It says,
what language is that?
Salut. One of the like Nordic French. Type of ones,
like Norwegian or something.
Yeah, like Swedish or something. I think.
Yeah. How do we get on this? I just was like, wait.
I don't know.
How do we go? We were talking about languages.
You were talking about how you listen to songs in other languages, and I was thinking to myself that one of the only songs that just like popped into my mind that I've listened to in its original language is Dragostea, which I don't know what it means at all.
It's probably some weird.
But they also had it actually they didn't have it in this movie that I watched on Netflix called The Mitchells versus the Machines. Have you watched that?
No, you told me about that.
Yes, it's so good. But actually, they weren't even singing that song. They were singing like some rap version. Whose song was it? Because somebody sampled it.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. So,
well, anyway, somebody sampled it like later years, part of the song for a hip hop song, and they were singing that version of it. But I always knew like the original
one. I remember that. Yeah, but actually, I was reading an article today. Was that part of it too?
Yeah, that's part of the same song. So that's the part of the song they sampled. The my he, my who. My ha, my ha.
Oh yeah! Wow. Okay, that was such an interesting song. I don't remember seeing a video for that, but I do remember all of that. But I actually was reading an article earlier today about how Netflix is allowing people to be, especially Americans, to the beauty of or the appreciation of foreign language films and foreign made work, that so many Netflix is allowing exposure to so many different movies, TV shows made in foreign languages, and people are exposing themselves to it and they're loving it.
Because like I'm sure they probably always had it there, but they're starting to like, I guess, put like the trailers and stuff at the top for things that aren't in your own native language. Because I'm sure they've had like plenty of, well, I mean, I don't know about plenty, but I'm sure they've had like foreign language stuff on there. But now it's like, even if you're like in the United States, they're like still showing you stuff from like France or whatever other countries.
South
like
Korea,
there's like this one called
Spain.
Ragnarok that's like,
yes, and it's actually from like the culture that Ragnarok. I think,
and they're
I want to say Norwegian,
and they're like,
I don't know. I'm sorry if I got it wrong.
That's the word I'm looking for. They spotlight it for you so that you're like, oh, that looks interesting. Whereas I think before, like maybe in earlier years, they would have only spotlighted stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I just got a recommendation like in the spotlight for Workin' Moms, which is like Canadian. Though they could have recommended that to me before because it's English. But it just that was funny, by the way. Working Mom is hilarious. I haven't finished it, but like it's so
funny,
hilarious. And it's so like, I don't know, raw too. Like, it's funny, and they're just like doing the most.
Okay, Working Moms plugging it, y'all. Check it out.
Yeah, we'll throw it in the show notes.
But I really like
we
that.
should throw all this stuff. We'll put Dragostea Dente. We'll find like a music video for it, so you guys can.
Please,
Happy Pride Month. We'll put that in there. Yeah.
I need to see this video. But yeah, I just was one. I've always known. Yeah, we need to just be open to that. I'm ahead of the time. Just I've been ahead of the time for a while on this kind of stuff. But I'm actually glad that now more people are like just being open to it. And yes, some stuff is dubbed. So like your mom listened to it in English, and I didn't realize it was even dubbed. But like a lot of stuff has the option so that you could listen to it in English instead of the original language. But again, I know the guy speaks French, and I love to hear his voice. So I was like, I'd love to watch a French film in French. It's filmed in France, and I'm like, I want all the Frenchness in there. So I listened to it in the original language, and I read the subtitles, and me and my sister loved it. That's what we did. My mom watched it with us, but again, my mom, all of us, we watch foreign films all the time. So reading subtitles and hearing different languages is not a problem for us.
Par for the course.
But I just like that they're not letting, dubbing helps so that you don't let the work just pass you by because you have the issue where I don't like to read subtitles. So I really would prefer people watch the movie and the show.
And there's another thing. One of my friends recommended a series to me that I haven't watched yet. It's another heist type thing.
Oh, it's Money Heist.
Yes,
Money Heist. I need to
Heist.
watch that, and it's originally Spanish, as in from Spain, I think.
Yeah. And I just haven't gotten a chance to it yet because I know I will have to read, so I know it involves a little bit more work. Whereas something else that you don't have to read, you can kind of be a little bit more or less intentional. I guess
because there's so many seasons of that show. I even thought I should just listen to it in the dub, but I'd have to look at the whole thing and see if it'll bother me, because you can kind of tell when something's dubbed, even though they do really good with the timing. You can tell something's dubbed. Yeah. And I'm just like, am I down for that? No. I'd rather suffer through the stuff. It's not even suffering for me. I'd rather just go through the subtitles and I rewind if I need to. Did I miss something? Rewind. So I'm going to check and see, because sometimes I don't like it when I can tell something's dubbed. The only time it's not a problem is when it's anime, because, it's a cartoon anyway. Yeah. But I still sometimes go back and just listen to Japanese and still prefer that too. Oh, speaking of anime, I'm just going to bring this up real quick. Do you know they are making a live action of Cowboy Bebop? I did. I've known for over a year, actually. I'm actually excited to see, what's his name from Harold and Kumar? I think his name is John Cho. John Cho. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see him in there because he's I'm excited to see more Asian actors coming to the forefront, stuff, leads and stuff. Because I'm like, John Cho is hot. He'll be cool as Spike. He already had the hair for it. When I saw the little teaser thing. You've seen him with the hair? I have not. He grew his hair out so he could look like it. And I was like, oh my god. You got to put that in the show notes as well, because I want to see that as well. It was just like a small little teaser thing where that he's going to be in it. Then this other chick is going to be in it. And then the black guy, I wish I remember his name. Jet Black. Was the... Yes. Sorry, I'm pointing. You guys can't see. I'm pointing because I've got Cowboy Bebop all up in the studio here, y'all. And this is one of her favorite anime, so that's why I had to bring it up so that she would know. I was like, just in case you didn't know. But the guy who played the villain in Luke Cage. Luke Cage, you're talking about TV version. I thought you were talking about Cowboy the guy Bebop. Who played. No, because I don't know anything about Cowboy. I've never watched it. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, Sid Vicious is the villain. That's why I was looking forward to the show. So I was like, finally, I can see what this is about. You should watch the show. I know. I just haven't. I actually own the movie. I don't own the series, but I own the movie on DVD, which of course I never go into my DVDs because it's so much effort to take out a DVD and put it in. Yeah, but he plays that character. But I just liked seeing him again because I really thought he was such a good villain in Luke Cage, the series on Netflix. Well, Disney Luke Cage. Who's playing him? He's a black actor. He's a tall black actor. Is he the original villain? The one who got killed? No, I don't think he was a villain. I think he's just playing one of the characters in... No, I'm talking about in Luke Cage. You said he was a villain, right? Yeah, in season 2. Season 2. I haven't watched season 2. The Jamaican... He was the Jamaican.
I haven't watched season 2.
Oh, okay. So you might not know who he is.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna send you the link, the thing, and I'm gonna post it for you guys too, in case y'all like.
You guys can see as well.
Okay, so I just want to go into what I'm blerding out about, y'all, and it's summer. I'm just blerding out about you guys. Things are finally like opening up. I'm just loving going out doing things. Summertime. I love it. I just I like seeing people out and about doing things, and it's just so nice to be somewhere and feel free to hug your friends again. I mean, yeah, I'm vaccinated fully, yes, but some people, you still need to be cautious because I know some people don't. And, you also want to be careful because you're like people's comfort level. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, for those people, they wear their mask, that's cool. If I want to wear one, I wear it. If I don't, I just keep it moving because I have been vaccinated. And the restrictions have been taken down. So, but I just love that. I feel like we're finally getting, I know COVID's not over, but it's like we're getting through it. We're
coming out the other side.
This too shall pass. So
Indeed.
I'm just blurting out about being able to go places and do things and the restrictions lifting. And I don't know about y'all, but that just deserves a yeehaw.
I don't know if I would have gone for a yeehaw, but all right.
I know. That was so random. My second blurt out is kind of related because, of course, we had Juneteenth recently. This past weekend, which was my birthday. Hey.
Happy birthday to you.
Get it.
Happy birthday to you.
Sing it.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Whitney.
You're welcome.
And Whitney got me a lovely gift, which I will be talking about in the next episode, not this episode, because she knows it's like my new obsession. So I will talk about the next episode.
Bola had a full-on blurred out with me yesterday, where she gave me a 30-minute rundown about this next thing that she's gonna blur. Well, what she's gonna blurt out.
I'm not gonna lie,
but it was really engaging. It made me even more interested in it.
I swear, after the fact, Whitney, I was when I was driving home. Or I was driving to meet you where we were going. Mm-hmm. I was like, maybe I should have just calmed down because I did the same thing to my sister every time I talk about these books.
No, but it made me more interested.
You just go so in and you're just so excited, and she thinks that my sister thinks because I love writing and world building, and it's the writing of these books that I love so much. But now I'll talk about it in the next episode, y'all.
But that's what drew me in, because it was you were so excited about it that I got more excited about it. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna actually read them now.
Yeah, I would the books. Never mind. Let's just anyway. That's not part of my blurt out. I just want to say that I really think. But Juneteenth is also my birthday is June 19th, of course. But Juneteenth is also a celebration for everybody. I've been hearing the Twitter chatter where, I think a holiday is great, is nice. But however, I do feel like I understand people where they're talking about how, the holiday kind of placates, but it doesn't address the issues that Black people are talking about or facing. I remember I was watching a video clip where somebody's like, but can we get a Black hate bill like the Asians did? Or can we get an anti-lynching bill passed? Can we do that? Let's fix some stuff instead of just we feel bad about this. We recognize it. Let's just give them a holiday. So it's a bit of, I don't know what to call it, but I understand. But for Juneteenth, I decided to go to the exhibit at the VMFA, which is one of my favorite places in Richmond. It's probably my very favorite place to go in Richmond.
For those of you, if there are any, there might not be any, who aren't our friends or the two crickets who listen to our podcast. If you're not in
put us out like that, we got listeners.
If you're not in Virginia,
anonymous.
The VMFA is the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts. Just FYI.
Yes, it's a beautiful, wonderful place where it's just our spot. It's beautiful. I love it.
Me, and we'll be in a world of pure imagination
and art. But they had
art.
a new exhibit called The Dirty South, which was about Black culture, history through sound and art, and it was so cool. There were some pieces that are so moving, and I just felt like for the first time in one of the exhibits, I felt like I really read a lot of the placards to understand stuff. I really was looking into what these pieces meant, or I was moved by certain pieces, or I felt that I could talk with my African heritage experience. I remember my friends were like, "Oh, you should be a professor after this," because I was talking about so many different things, because I always read and I just absorb information. That's what I do. I'm the sponge, y'all, the sponge. But I really would recommend everybody go out and look at that, because that exhibit was really good. It was nice to see so many different people, all different races. When we went to the exhibit, it was great on Juneteenth. So it was a bunch of people there. And I really appreciated that, and I really liked the experience. So I would say if you live in Richmond, Virginia, go get a ticket. And if you're a state employee, you can get a free ticket, so no excuses. But the exhibit was really nice, and I really felt like it was a good celebration of the Black history, trauma, beauty, ratchetness, everything all together of Black America. I really thought it was great. So that was my 2 blurred outs.
All right.
Yeah.
Giggity.
What about you, Whitney? You ain't blurred about nothing?
Well, I think I kind of mentioned what I'm kind of blurting out about right now, which was just like within the
that
last
song.
couple days. I mean, no. Working moms is what I'm blurting out about right now. Though I will add in the Mitchells versus the Machines as well, just to re-emphasize with Bola that she should watch it, because
so much to watch, y'all. So much to watch.
But it's like it's a movie, so it's not like a series, so it's not as much investment as like a full series as far as like the amount of time.
You know, even Raya and the Dragon are no longer part of the Premier Access.
Oh,
so it's like, now I need to go watch that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I need to watch that too. So there's like the list is just.
Oh man, and then we In the Heights is coming out.
Yeah,
soon.
so much new stuff, and then Never Have I Ever is coming out with season 2, which is another little Asian American with the Indian American girl, the Indian girl. Oh my gosh!
I watched the first
again,
season of that,
Shang-Chi's coming out soon.
Oh yeah,
and the 5 fists. Is it 5? 10 fists? 10 rings.
10 rings.
I'm just
like,
so.
But Black Widow comes out before that, I thought.
Oh, you're probably right. You're right. Black Widow does come out before that, but I don't know when that's coming out.
Black Widow comes out like July 9th, I believe.
Okay, so we will be going to watch that.
Yes, we will.
Because I've been waiting to watch that forever.
Black Widow is my girl. Like what was it? Iron Man 2, when she
pulled up in there and did this pose.
I was like, oh snap, she's a G.
Right, get it, Scarlett. I see you. And that's the first time I've ever seen her in something like that. So it was great.
Yeah, it is.
I still prefer her with the red hair than the blonde in the past.
Yeah, I think like red hair just really, really suits her.
I like the idea that, okay, she's a character, but she's a person. And then she's just like, well, maybe Natasha was just like, I need to change my hair color this year. So that's how I took it. Because I was like, why is she blonde in this season? In this episode. My bad. In this movie. I was like, why is she blonde right now? But then I like the idea of like, oh, she's a character. She's like, just like any of us, I want to change my hair color. So that's kind of how I saw it. And I was like, yeah, she's a person who changes her look.
Bola is fuchsia right now, you guys.
Yes, and I'm loving it. I get so much compliments.
You guys will see. Bola will post like the Instagram preview.
Our videos.
Yeah.
All right, so we're done blurting out, and we're going to get into Lupin. Yes. And so right off the bat, I was excited to see this because of the main actor. So the main actor's name is Omar Sy. He's a Senegalese French actor, because he was born in Senegal and then his family immigrated to France, where he grew up, and then he started off his life as a comedian. Really.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Huh. He was just doing a comic. He would do like bits and skits and stuff. Because I think it's so interesting. Like in France, like here, inner cities are full of poor people, immigrants, all that kind of stuff. And then the suburbs always have the richer people. Mm. But in France, it's the opposite. Huh. So the cities are for the rich people. Mm-hmm. And then they call them the banlieue. Those places are called the suburbs, and they are full of like the shanties, the projects, the places. That's where you see all the immigrant classes. And so he grew up in one of those places.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. So I just was learning all about his life and things, because I really like him. So he's like a dark skin, very African looking, very like French, very dapper, but he has this charm about him. He has such a unique look. And I just find him handsome anyway. But he just was so charming. Mm-hmm. And the first time I saw him was in the movie Untouchables, where he played like a guy who was taking care of a terminal person who was about wheelchair bound. He was a rich guy, this rich white French, like I would say, what's the good word? Not a socialite, but just someone in a high class, a rich French person. But he was disabled and stuck in a chair. Mm. And then for some reason, he couldn't keep like caretakers. And then this black guy just was like, he ended up getting in there, and he was just like the best caretaker he ever had, because he didn't treat him like his status. He just treated him like, you're a guy, and I'm going to relate to you. He's like, I don't care how rich you are, I'm going to relate to you, be real. And that's what he needed, instead of the people who are primming and pampering and like whimpering over him. He wanted somebody who treated him like a regular person. And so it was actually even though it was funny parts, it was so moving, and I was like, this guy is amazing. But he was also in one of the X-Men movies, New Class. He was in...
Who was he?
I don't know. Girl, I have to look that up for you. Omar Sy has done a lot of things since then, so he's now become like a big international star. So I just wanted to see him again in something but I like that he was the lead. I was like, a French black dude is the lead of this whole show?
Yeah,
oh, no. I gotta
awesome.
find out. So that's what really made me...
about me.
Exactly. And then I love me some heist. You guys, ask Whitney. I love me some heist movies. Like
That
heist capers are like some of my favorite.
Oh snap! He
films.
was Bishop.
Yeah,
dude,
that's who he was. And people don't remember. I didn't remember either. So it's great to see Omar Sy doing this, and I just love him. He's great. But he plays the character Arsène Diop, which is based off of who is inspired by a French character novel. Not a character novel. Oh my god, I'm so tongue tied today, y'all. Sorry. A character from these famous novels in France, called Arsène Lupin. So Arsène Lupin is our equivalent of like Sherlock Holmes. America doesn't really have one of these characters. We just kind of take the English ones as our own. So like a Sherlock Holmes kind of character. Anybody who you would call like a master of disguise, a burglar, thief, extraordinaire, that kind of character. That's the equivalent for them in France. So Arsène Lupin is like something that the French people have seen so many times, just like we've seen so many iterations of Sherlock Holmes, right? So except for Sherlock solves crimes, and then Arsène is kind of like committing crimes. That's how I was like, but I just want to get to the point of like how the notoriety of the character. It's a really well-known character that has so many iterations, like Sherlock Holmes has in English literature.
Sorry guys,
Arsène
I've just
is like
been
French.
looking him up on IMDb to find him as Bishop. That is so awesome! I didn't know that was
he
him!
was. He played Bishop. Yep,
Yeah.
and you didn't even know. People didn't notice it.
Yeah.
He was in there in the X-Men movies. So, but that was the thing. That's the backstory. So, Arsène Lupin is the character that our main guy, Arsène Diop, is inspired by, because some injustice happens to his father. Should we? Okay, spoilers.
You guys know
please
that
watch
this show
Lupin.
is chock full of spoilers.
Please go watch Lupin right now. Stop and just watch Lupin and then come back.
His dad gets arrested for like stealing this like
He gets framed, actually.
yeah, he's framed, but he
And
gets
then
arrested
arrested.
for stealing this necklace. What was the name of the necklace?
Collier de la Reine, which means the necklace of the queen.
Yeah. So he gets framed for stealing this necklace from his employers because he was working as a driver for this rich family. And he goes to jail, and he's like, saying how he's innocent, but one of his employer's wife convinces him to plead guilty in order to get like a shorter sentence. And he does. And they throw the book at him.
Yeah.
And since they throw the book at him, he like supposedly kills himself in jail.
But that's not what happened.
That's not what happened.
To make sure the real thing doesn't come out, the employer, Pellegrini. Oh God, I can't stand. Oh my God, he was like one of the worst like characters. I like literally watching this season. There's villains. Yeah, I'm like, oh, he bad. But I really could not stand this guy. I don't know if it was because I was listening to him in French, but how he spoke to people and everything. He was just so short, curt, like disrespectful.
So to be honest,
I couldn't stand him.
Until he got killed off, I actually disliked Leonard. Was that his name, Leonard? Leonard even more, because he just had he looked like such a villain.
Yeah, he was like, I'm a killer. That's basically Leonard. Leonard was like a killer.
And I was just like,
Yeah. Leonard was a henchman who ended up killing Arsène's father in jail. So if you
and
imagine
his friend that he met who didn't last very long. I was so sad.
The white lady, the journalist who was actually trying to take Pellegrini,
for long enough to come back into herself and then get killed off.
It was so messed up. But so you're talking about, well, what happened with Lupin is that there was 2 parts. So this show premiered during the pandemic, which was another great thing for it because everyone was just watching so much stuff because we're all stuck at home. I mean, I remember when it came out, I was just like, I binged it like 2 days. I was done, like the first part, and I was like, they have to do more. They can't end it here. I was like, how are you gonna just give me like 6 episodes? I was really having heart palpitations. I was like, where's the rest? It can't end here. And they're like, Arsène will be back. Lupin will be back for part 2. And I was like, yes. And then it came around like this year. And I was like, part 2 is I was so excited, Whitney. I was so excited. What about you?
It was just like, it was really good. But like, I'm thinking about back to a part that really stood out for me in the second part where he's had a falling out with his ex-wife. Are they exes?
That's the interesting thing. Let's talk about the characters in this. So, Arsène, also Lupin, he has, I want to say an ex-wife. Maybe she's an ex-wife because I remember he mentioned alimony in the subtitles.
They did. Yeah, so I wasn't sure if they were separated or if they were actually divorced.
Yeah, so that's up in the air, but they were exes. They were childhood sweethearts, though. Mm-hmm. And then he has his helper, his friend, Benjamin, who I really love. I really love his friend. Like, I really love, because he's just down for the cause.
I gotta say, like, Benjamin looked so, like, hot at the end. I mean, he was cute, but he was hot at the end with the whole, like, thing where he like
he slicked his hair back a little bit.
I was like,
part 2. But like, I see you, man, and he got really
like, you can get it back.
Yeah, he was cute. The young version of him. So I liked him.
He was cute. The young version too. Yeah.
So the great thing about this show is like each episode is like he's trying to pull off a job, trying to pull off a caper or a heist or steal something. So he's either trying to get in, break in somewhere, come out of something, or steal something. Or like it's a mix. Every episode was so unique and interesting that something was going on in that episode. So he has a friend, Benjamin, who helps him, and the way they did the show is like they would do like the flashbacks to the past where he was younger, and then you see how he's developed and how he became so inspired by the Lupin books. How he kind of like came up obsessed with the Lupin books. He wanted to become Lupin. He really wanted Lupin, and he wanted to become. He wanted to get back at who caused his father's death because I think he figured out what was going on, and he was like, "No, my dad doesn't steal." His father was like the most upright person to him. So for them to be
I think he believed it for a little bit though, because remember when he found the letter, he was like, "My father was not a thief." That's right. So I think he believed that his father did do it for a while, because it wasn't until he got like he went back and looked at the note and he found it. So I think for a little while he might have believed it. It was very revenge-esque to me. Did you ever watch that show?
Revenge? Oh yeah.
Yeah, it felt like that to me. Like, remember, she believed for a while that her father was like a terrorist, and then it wasn't until later.
Until she learned the truth. Yep. And so, but they always flash back to the past, and they have the younger versions. I swear, me and my sister kept saying this. The child that plays his younger self, I'm like, they look so much alike. I was like, my sister's like, this has got to be one of his family members. And I was like, I mean, he might just be another Senegalese African kid in France. I was like, I'm sure. But she's like, they got the same head shape, everything. And I was like, just leave it alone. That's the whole point. But the kid did all the younger actors did a great job too.
Yeah, everybody did a great job.
Yeah, I really liked it. I really liked them. And then I liked that it was very quintessential French. The French have their own way of doing things, saying things, talking, and I just liked seeing that in this whole little environment. You know what I mean? But the character of Arsène and how he developed into his Lupinesque side, it was just awesome to see, you know, because he would just change his clothes, put on he was just, it was so amazing.
And like where
his
he
transformations.
lived, which even his wife didn't know like where he actually lived. Ex-wife, and son didn't know where he actually lived.
Yeah.
But like you see all these like different like costumes or like not costumes, but like, you know,
props,
disguises and props.
Gadgets. And I'm like, he just knew everything. Like every time he pulled something, I was like, how did he do this? And I'm like, then you would see he knows how to use this gadget. You see he knows how to fight. Then you would see he knows how to use this technology to do this and that, to change a news clipping, to like forge some stuff together. It was just like he just had so many skills. I was like, yo, this guy is amazing. And he was like a one-man job. Like, well, no, he had helpers at times, but he was essentially pulling it off. His main helper,
dude,
who knew everything about his life, so he knew everything.
Change out, make the fake jewels. He was like the version of Mindy Kaling from Ocean's 8.
Ocean's 8, yep.
And then he also was like the fencer. So he was also, what's her name? Sarah Paulson's character.
Oh yeah.
I'm making all of the like connections back to Ocean's 8.
Again, heist characters, heist people. He was the techie person. Well, no, Lupin did all the techie stuff himself.
Yeah.
And then he put on the disguises as well. So I just love how he transformed himself all the time. But and it's like you wanted him to win all the time, even though he wasn't doing like the most like he wasn't doing like great stuff. But his goal
he was very good. Robin Hood-esque.
Yes, see, that's another character you can liken the Arsène Lupin, because he's like. He's not like he steals, but
he's stealing with a purpose, like a noble purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's trying to get back at some people who deserve to get back. Okay, because Pellegrini, I was so irritated.
Well, sorry, the events of the series, he's stealing for a noble purpose. I get the feeling that he stole just to make a living up till then. Because you remember when he was like trying to like woo, what's her name? Is it Anne? No, not Anne.
Are you talking about Juliet?
Juliet? Okay.
It's the Pellegrini's daughter.
Yes. When he was like wooing Juliet and he like steals her, he's like, remember when we used to do this? So I get the feeling they used to do it just for fun.
Oh yeah, he used to do it just for fun because he learned how to. And then you know what's so interesting? It's like you saw in the second part a attempt where he first was like, I'm gonna be like Lupin, and it goes really badly. So Claire is his future baby mama, ex-wife. But in school, he just really liked her, and she wanted to play. She's a violinist, and somebody who was jealous of her or something broke her actual violin, and of course, instruments are expensive. So they went into the shop. She went to the shop to go get a new one, and she's like, she couldn't afford it. But he followed her, and then he came out, and he's like, well, let's just rent it. There's a sign right here that says you'll rent it. But because he was black, the owner of the shop was like, no, we're not doing nothing. I'm thinking if she had thought of it, maybe he would have done it. But because she was associated with him and he was black, which I was like really irritated by, he wouldn't let her even rent it. So she was just like, let's just leave, let's forget about it. But he was like, no, this is my girl. I don't want her to lose her her competition, all that kind of stuff. So he's like, I'm gonna go back and steal that violin for her, and he did it too, but he got caught. And so it's just like the beginnings of his little transformation. It was there. The seeds were there. He tried it. I like that they showed that he tried it. He didn't succeed, but he was like, "We gonna keep doing this though."
You know what I also like from like the flashbacks when they find the map of like those underground tunnels.
Oh my gosh!
And then after they escape, he actually gets Benjamin to actually give it back to the lady, like we promised.
Yes.
20 years later, here's that thing we stole.
And I was mad at that. I was like, oh my gosh, y'all didn't return that. Y'all didn't return the map.
Y'all couldn't have like sketched like a copy or something,
That's
or gone to the photocopier. You had to like take the.
They took that thing. They're like, no, we just gonna keep this. And he's like, yeah, give it back to her now. But that episode, that was like episode 9, right? That episode I love so much because I love how this is going now to like the filming genius, those who edit, those who like do the cinematography, all that kind of stuff. The cutting back and forth and the editing where they matched up when the kids did the run and when them as adults did it. I was just like so back. I just loved it because it almost like matched perfectly. And I was watching and I was like just on my edge of my seat. I was like I'm not gonna lie, I was so hyped watching the end of Lupin, the second part. I was just like, my mom and my sister was like, why are you making so much noise in the house? I was like, you gotta watch Lupin season 2. Stop playing. I'm clapping. Because it was just such great film. I was so entertained, excited, enthused. But that particular part where they're going through the tunnels, I just thought it was so genius work, you know?
I also really appreciated the fact that he was flawed. As a character.
Yes, he wasn't a perfect father.
Not
everything.
for the fact that he was a thief. That wasn't presented as a flaw to me. Like, it was just like a means for him to, like, you know, get by, make a living, do all this stuff. But the fact that you found out through, like, the flashbacks that he was, like, having an affair with Juliet while he was with Claire, it's like, oh, snap! And, like, all this stuff, and it's like, oh, well, this isn't good. But I really, like, I got so afraid at the part where he had, like, convinced Juliet to, like, take her father down. And when she was waiting at that bridge, I thought he was going to leave her. Yeah. And then Benjamin was like, I was like, that would be so cold. I was like, that would be so wrong because it wasn't her fault.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You see him, like, he's a burglar thief and he was using her as a means to an end, but he wasn't heartless. And I like how in the end of season 2, to me, I'm not gonna lie, even though there was part 1, part 2, I felt like this was all still one season.
Well, I mean, they didn't call it season 2. They did call it just part 2.
I know, but it seemed like a second season. But I would agree. I feel like all the episodes actually go together to me. I would say another season would be like whatever happens after what happens in part 2. But where was I going with that? Dang. I lost my train of thought. Oh man, I really lost my train of thought.
After everything happened, you were talking about, I think, after everything wrapped up.
Oh yeah. So you know how Pellegrini was actually trying to steal from his daughters. Like she was actually trying to do something good, and that's the thing. The daughter was actually trying to do something good. She was never doing anything bad. She didn't even realize what was going on with her father and everything. How her father was basically a son of a you know what. The backside of a donkey. Anyway. And he
thrice cursed son of a Southside goat.
Yes, you know I love it. Son of a biscuit-eating bulldog. Okay, no. And he was literally trying to steal the majority of this money people were donating for her cause to help children and friends.
It was like, 85%? And she only gets like 15%?
And she only gets 15%.
Like, dude, you are just like...
From your own daughter. Like,
but then again,
really?
Her mother did tell her, it's like...
Your father's an ass. And he's
he's like, you're either for him or against him. And it's like, and if you're against him, then it really doesn't matter who you are to him.
It's terrible. Even that's how she had. She's like, I'm done with you. I got my own little place on the side. I'm done with you. So, but I like that. You would think a real burglar would be like, oh no, all that money is coming to me. Because he had a little guy. I'm not gonna lie, that little guy. I pretty much thought the little guy that came in. I thought he was just somebody that Pellegrini was like one of Pellegrini's people.
I had my suspicions. This is very rare for me. My mom's usually really good at ascertaining these type of things like before they happen, but I rarely pick up on anything until they like reveal it. But I'm like, I had my suspicions about him when he first came in. I was like, I wonder if he's like working with Lupin.
I see, and somehow. I didn't realize that because the way he came off so ruthless. But sometimes that could just be the French attitude. I'm not gonna lie, because he just like the guy's like, how old are you? He's like, my age doesn't matter. I just get my stuff done for my clients. Are you down or not? You know what I mean? That's basically how he behaved, and I was just like, okay. But then I couldn't place him. I was like, I don't know if he's just one of these like ruthless, seedy people that don't mind doing the bad stuff for rich people. Because there are those characters who like, I get my money, I do whatever they ask, as long as I get my money.
He played that part very well. It's just that there was just something about the fact that he was like the timing of it. It wasn't because of the way he like portrayed himself, because I was like, he had that part down pat, but it was just the timing that made me suspect. It wasn't until the end of that, when they showed it, I was like, oh, well, damn. I really was thinking he was on a Pellegrini's really turned him around, because like the way that he looked in the library.
Yeah, he was a full-on goth. And then he turned himself a clean-cut. He was cute too. Once they cleaned him up, he was cute. He little skinny really thing. But I like that money. He was like, because even Benjamin and that guy, I forgot his name, but Benjamin and the helper, they were both like, what are we going to do with this money? Because what they were doing, Pellegrini don't know that. Yeah, your money's not going to some offshore account in the Cayman Islands. No. It's coming to us. So they're like, what are we doing with the money? And then Lupin said, let me say, Arsène was like, no. All that money is going to go to her organization. the kids shouldn't suffer because that guy's evil. He's like, no, all that money is going into the organization. And I was like, see, that's that heart of gold thing right there. That's that, he's not a killer. He's not like a
Robin Hood.
He never kills anybody, really. Although that guy that took his son, he was like, Leonard, he just threw him out of the window. So part 1 and part 2 are separated by an inciting incident, which was called the kidnapping of Arsène's son, Raoul. And he was like, oh, you ain't mess with my son.
He was such a little cutie.
He was a little cute, it's a little mop of hair. He was so cute, but he was traumatized. And I don't blame the mom. I'm not going to lie. With Claire, I was kind of feeling some kind of way about her because I was like, you really just try to betray him to the police?
And that's like, really? Another thing I really liked about the series is the way that they because, since the central character is Arsène, then, you feel with him, you feel with the protagonist, but then you're looking at it, so you're like, how could you, blah, 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 he's his father, you can't separate his father, but then you're like, no, this is like messed up, if it weren't for what he was doing, their son would not have been in danger, and he's like still going there, so like, as a mother, then that is the logical choice of what to do.
And that's why you couldn't really fault Claire, even though I was like, Claire, you were working with Pellegrini right now. And I wonder if she knows really the truth about what happened. That's my thing. I was like, I don't know if she knows.
I don't think she knew until Benjamin told her, because remember she was asking him, and that's when she went to Pellegrini.
Oh, he told her the truth about everything. That's right.
I think so, yeah.
Because I was like, does she know?
Yeah.
Because I was like, if she knew how bad this thing was, like, she would never go to him. But at the same time, the mother is always about protecting her child.
All that stuff as well. She might have been a little bit more aware of Juliet, too.
Yeah, so she's like, she knows he's dangerous. And I felt bad because it's like, once for women, once you like tread on their children, that's when the claws come out. She's like, you know what, do what you gotta do, but my son,
you are not going to put him in danger.
So she felt like she did what she had to do.
But that's what a good mother would do.
It looks like a betrayal, but
she was like, I still love him. Maybe she's not in love with him anymore. I don't know. But she was like, but no. This is my child, and you are not going to put him in danger. Yeah,
and so I agree. So that whole scene where Leonard, the henchman of Pellegrini, the villain, like kidnapped his son. Oh man, that just started off some stuff. I was like really on my toes on that
pins
episode.
And needles. I mean, because you know how you watch like a show or a movie, and you're like, they're not going to let anything happen to so and so. But now, like in the last 20 years, that's kind of out the window. They will kill all the main characters. So like when Raoul was in the trunk of the car, I was like, oh snap, they're gonna kill him.
I thought he was a little burnt little thing. I thought he was
gonna be dead. I thought he was like they were gonna kill him off. I was like, dude,
it really looked like
so messed up.
It really looked like it.
And that made me hate that. That's part of the reason why Leonard was even more hateable to me than even what's his name, because what's his name hardly got his hands dirty. So you hate him, but it's like Leonard was so on screen hateable that he's just the things.
You know what? I'm on the opposite side. To me, I prefer the ones who get their hands dirty because at least you've seen them. They have the guts to do what they want to do. People like Pellegrini, where they just get people to do their bidding, I hate that. Because I'm like, you don't try to get your hands dirty, but you're the one doing all this evil stuff. I hate that. I hate it. You're worse to me.
Yeah, I totally get that. It's just that,
that's just my take.
My ire, fiery ire was very directed at Leonard because he was actually doing it, and you know that the worst person is Pellegrini, but just the fact that he was doing this, I'm like, it's a child. And at the very least, Pellegrini was like, I just want him, leave the kid alone.
Yeah.
And he was like, and Leonard's just like, I think I'm just gonna throw him in this trunk and set him on fire.
I know, that was terrible. So Leonard was a really terrible villain. There was so many,
which is why his bitch ass got taken out.
What's so funny? I think I saw a clip or a comment, and you know how Arsène dealt with him. He was fighting with him and struggling with him, but the way, because Arsène is so big compared to Leonard.
Yeah.
And I love that, by the way. Just hotness. Just a nice big black dude. Oh, anyway. But Leonard, he just, the way he threw him out the window, it was actually comical because he's just He's like, no, he just got thrown out a window like a rag doll. It was hilarious. And I was like, oh.
You just got kicked in your chest. You were talking all that good. It's just a little while ago.
I was like, did he just do that? And then I was like, he's dead. And then I was like, oh, he's not though. How did he survive that?
He's like a cockroach.
Yes, seriously. Because I was like, he just got thrown out of a window. I know he broke some stuff, but he still popped up and was shooting Ghidorah and the one of the police officers that was
actually a non-corrupt. Well, no, actually the three of them were non-corrupt.
Yeah, they were non-corrupt, but they were on his team.
Ghidorah?
Yeah, Ghidorah.
Ghidorah was the more prominent character because he's the one who figured out that Arsène was like playing, like going by the book of like Lupin.
Yeah, it's because he was also a fan of the Arsène Lupin books. So I kind of like that there were so many people in the story that were fans of the books. Like even his son, because it was like passing on a legacy. Because the way he got the book was because Arsène's father was looking at the library, like the book. You could tell he was somebody educated. But when immigrants come to other countries, it's like, whatever, I'm not going into it, but they're like, okay, you're just going to be this, you know, and then I'm not going to lie, there's a thing where sometimes the French look down on the Francophone African peoples. It's a thing. It really is. And it's still a thing, actually. So that's why he didn't mind pinning the thing on him. He's like, nobody cares. You're just a black dude from another French African country. Nobody cares. And that's why he felt like he could do that to him. But you could tell his father was someone who's learned and had intelligence and stuff, and they just didn't see him that way because of how their prejudice towards black people. And so he looked at the books. He's like, no, my son needs one of these. This is a good gift for him, reading some books. So he picked one. The wife let him pick a book, and the father gave it to him as a gift, and he found it after his father died, which was really sad. But then, then Arsène gets so invested in this book, transform his life. But then he kind of passed it on to his son Raoul. So Raoul starts reading the books too. So, and then even the guy they recruit to help our young guy. I guess we're gonna call him the helper, so I can figure out what his name was.
Because they recruited him is by finding people who were like specifically in the library looking for the
Arsène Lupin books, and then he was like trying to steal one, and they're like, "This is our guy, this is our guy," because he's trying to steal one of the books.
And he was good too, because he like his awareness of his surroundings. He was like, "What do you want?"
Yeah, and the funny thing was, this Ghidorah police officer, he kept saying that, "Hey, this guy is using these books," but all the other police officers like, "Are you dumb? Like a book, really? Get to work and figure out this case." And he's like, "Y'all not listening to me." So he followed his instinct, and then he was there when his son got kidnapped because they were going to an Arsène Lupin like convention, I guess. And so I just thought it was great that they had. I was reading some interviews about this, just some articles from the actors, and so when Omar Sy he was very involved in this. Funny thing is, they had like a showrunner that was showrunners are like the main head people that produce the show, and the showrunner is actually American or British, British, so English speaking, but he really wanted Omar Sy part of this project, and so in France. He says that, I remember he was talking about this on Jimmy Kimmel's show. Omar Sy was saying how in France there's so much of Arsène Lupin. It's been done so many times. Everybody watched it before. So he was involved in like, how do we make this different? We're going to do Arsène Lupin now, but how are we going to make it different? So he liked that the character was influenced by the books, not that the character was Lupin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that.
And I just thought that was great how you have books and the characters and love of the books, fandom, everything, inspiring people to be something different. Like I just liked how the person assumed the character on himself, and so I thought that was very interesting. And I liked how they did this little modern take. They're like, no, this is gonna be modern day, but we're gonna have him have the elements and the characteristics of this literary character, but he's not gonna be him. Yeah, he's still Arsène Diop, not Arsène Lupin. So I liked that little nugget. I just thought it was cool. I like that too.
And he was so dapper. Oh my! When he was going in to like buy the like necklace,
I love the dapperness.
I was like, "Ooh, he is looking so fine."
He has such confidence. Like, oh my god! Like I said, Omar Sy is very charming.
I was like, "Oh my god, he can get it."
That dark chocolate, I just like. It's my favorite. It's my favorite. I know I'm adding people to my list. Who did I add? like Ben Barnes was like the top Reagan, John Paul the week before, and then you like just still Trevor and Winston do what happened then. Like they lower right now.
This harem is starting to like get longer and longer.
Omar Sy is up there now. I love him. I just think he's just so charming. Oh my gosh,
he is.
That smile that he just when he just looks at, he's like. You know, he got it, and I was just like, yes, I was rooting for him all the time. But you know, one of the things I was again reading into this more, when they were talking about how there is a element of racism that plays in with this.
Yeah, that was interesting to me. I mean, obviously unpleasant, but it was like seeing like Leonard go into the place, and everybody's like. He's like, can I use the phone? He's like, you gotta buy something. And you can see like this, like, obviously, like, rays of racism just like,
and they're like, you gotta be a customer to use the phone. He's like, fine, I'll buy this drink. Now let me use the damn phone. And then Arsène came in to basically plead for help. He's like, yo, my son was just kidnapped by this black dude. I know I'm the only other black dude that came up through here. So I know y'all saw something, but nobody said nothing again. I was just so
like,
mad.
You sons of sons of sons of sons.
Even with the violin incident where the guy was like, no, I'm not going to let you do this because you're racist. And he called him out. He's like, racist. And that's how they say it in French. And I was like, this is ridiculous, you know? But what the showrunners and Omar was trying to point out was that how with the racism, they were saying how that kind of played into his favor with his changing of the characteristics because they just see him as another black man. So he was able to use that to his advantage, even though it's messed up. He was able to use that to his advantage to change his character because they were like, even though he was in plain sight, they weren't looking for him because he's like, oh, you're just some other black dude. You know? Like at the end, the way he got out of that whole theater.
With
at
like
the end, with the locks, I was like, dude, he just was there in front of y'all, and all he did was have a dread like wig, and y'all are like losing. Y'all are like, where did he go? Where did he go? I'm like, he's right there. He's right there. It's the same build, everything. Y'all just gonna pretend, and they're like, yeah, because they don't see. He's like, oh, this is just some other black dude. And so I know Lupin, the character's supposed to be a master of disguise anyway, but that part kind of like hit to me because I was like, yeah, it kind of goes with how like they see black people as you're just another black person, you know, and how the whole we're a monolith thing, which I hate. I really hate that. But Lupin uses it to his advantage, and he's able to get out of these situations and things because they don't expect him.
I thought in part one that was a really clever thing he did with like the delivery thing.
Oh
where
my
he had
gosh,
all
yes,
those, like,
the
delivery
capers.
drivers.
Yeah, let's chat about all the ways he got out of things. That one, the first episode. I remember I rewatched the first episode because he just played it so smooth, so cool. He changed his Wikipedia page to make himself look rich. They believe and you know what the funny thing is, they didn't. That's where you can see the racism part again because. They, like, searched him again. They didn't believe him. They're like, what's this black dude doing with money? Why is he... Like, they had to bring out the Wikipedia page to be like, who is this? Oh, okay. He got $576 million. Oh, yeah, he can do... I was like, what is the deal? Can't he just be in there and be like, no, I have money. I'm going to also bet on this diamond necklace, too. Like, that part irritated me.
To be honest, that part I didn't immediately attribute to racism. Now, when he was back... No, when he brought him back, he was like, we didn't expect a bidder like you. That I attributed to racism. Yeah. But not when he looked him up. Because I'm like, if someone's bidding on something this expensive, if they don't know them, I assume that some of the people he probably knew on site. But if they were a new bidder, that he probably looked them up to make sure they had the money.
Yeah, but you're right. After the fact, when he went into the area to actually look at the necklace, that whole thing irritated me so bad. I was like, really? And then he was leaving... And they still were like, let's frisk him and search him. And the guy who got roughed up, the guy who was basically the auctioneer, who was facilitating the thing, he was like, no, what are you doing? He got roughed up with me. And that was planned. But he got roughed up with me. He's like, what are you doing?
He was trying to stop him.
Yeah, he's like, well, the necklace is gone now. So, you know, it was so irritating to me because he's like, I'm still going to search him. And I was like, being black. You know what I mean? But I like that they didn't shy away from those things because
Though,
it's still
to be
very
honest,
prevalent in French society too.
The
Just
desire
like here.
to search him again, I did not attribute that to racism to the cop. I attribute that to him being a good detective.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think that was just him being like suspicious. Like something doesn't seem like they tried to get away with this. Maybe they had an inside person.
Okay.
For him, I don't think that was racism. I think that was him.
Being,
I think that was his like spidey sense tingling.
Okay.
Because he was actually a good cop. Like he was like suspicious of like the right people. He was like, something's not quite right. And even like he had like his kind of, this is kind of weird about my boss. I mean, he didn't like grasp onto the thought hard like what's his name did, but he like felt it. You could see he was like, this is weird. Yeah. So I think that was just him using his cop senses and being like,
okay, fair enough.
Which brings me to another thing. The freaking, what was his name?
Dumont.
I was like,
the dirty cop, the commissioner.
Like right up, very close to Leonard was Dumont in my eyes. Because to be honest, for some reason, all my ire, like less so. I mean, Pellegrini was awful, but just like watching in action, like my ire was so directed at Dumont. I was like, you son of a.
Yes, because I'm like, you're supposed to be a person upholding the law, and you're over here breaking it left and right for this one dude. Like, come on,
all this corruption. I'm like, ugh.
It was so terrible, and I was like, both of them. Oh my god, both of them got what they deserve in the end. I was like, your comeuppance is coming with swiftness, and oh my god, they got him. I love the way he did everything.
Oh my god, yeah, the way he kidnapped him, and they were like looking at this other place, and he had them inside the place where he took them the entire time. I was like, dude, genius, genius.
And they trying to frame him for that for Leonard's murder when another henchman came in and killed Leonard. And then
Leonard got his comeuppance, that bitch ass.
But Pellegrini did that too. But Pellegrini told his other dude, he's like, you know what, you kill him. Because he needs to pay for losing the son. And I was like, why?
He's messed up too many times.
And I was like, that's what I'm saying. That's why Pellegrini was the worst to me, because I'm like, even your henchmen are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and you just killing people. Heartless? Exactly. He was completely heartless. Let's talk about the end episode. So I just love the ending the most. Like, I thought I couldn't love anything more, but that ending, he's so bold with his stuff. Like, just the boldness, the audacity, of what he does. But it culminated in the last episode.
He's like, I'm going to walk out on the stage like, hey, y'all been looking for me. Here I am.
I know, and I was so shocked by that, because I was like, I know he's in the shadows. And you know what's so funny? When he had that knife to Pellegrini's throat, I was like, Mom, my mom was watching with me. I was like, Mom, he's recording this stuff. He wanted to make sure he got a confession out of it. And I was like, I didn't see any recording device, but I was like, I know my dude. He's recording it somehow.
Of course.
He's going to send it to somebody. And he got it. And I was like, Pellegrini's so dumb. That's why I'm saying he was so weak.
You know
hiding
what?
behind his power and money.
I don't think he was dumb. I think he was weak, overconfident.
Yeah, weak.
I mean, well,
he's hiding behind his power and his money,
and he was overconfident because I mean, he got a lot done, so obviously he wasn't dumb
because he had money.
But he was like so overconfident. He was like, I'm gonna have that guy dead very soon, so I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and tell him.
I know, and I was just like,
or doing
why were you talking?
To use the words of like from The Incredibles, whatever his name was, Syndrome. He was like,
like
you can't be monologuing.
I feel like if he was a real G, he would just not like admit any of that shit. He's like, no, I ain't saying nothing. I don't care. Kill me then. I would have like really. I would have loved for him to do that, but of course, since he's a weakling who can't really fight or defend himself, he uses his money to do his work for him. And his henchmen and everything. I just knew he was gonna. As soon as that knife hit his throat, I was like, "Yeah, he's gonna sing like a canary." I knew it. Right. And then he was up in the rafters. But my thing is, I did not expect him to come out and be like, "I send you up." Because at that time, Arsène was being hunted by the police for somebody else's murder.
They had all the security up in there.
Yes,
like,
it was terrible. I was like, "Y'all, really?" But he just came out there with boldness, and he was like, "This is what's going on. Sorry, Juliet, but this is the truth." I was like, "Oh my god, he did it!"
On the stage, just like,
I was not expecting him to come out just to say that mess in the open. I thought he was just gonna flash it on the screen, but he just came out himself. And then the lights went down, and he was like, "I'm out. I'm out." The fight scenes, the capers, even the little romances and everything.
Yeah, which made me wonder.
So much fun.
Like, I kind of wonder now, because, like, now I'm not sure. Like, was he really interested in Juliet?
I feel like
at the end. I mean, I know he was like before when he was having like the affair with her, but I'm like, is he actually interested in her, or was she just a means to an end? Because I know like he had feelings for her before, but I'm like, and I know he like cared that she.
Well, I think it's like he liked both of them, but he chose Claire. And I feel like Juliet was feeling salty about that because she liked him from the beginning. It was them at first, but her father kept them separate. So he had to be like, you know what, you know, I was trying to have something with you. You left me hanging at the bridge. I'm gonna move on to Claire. So and then she
even though they like apparently kept up the affair for like years.
Yeah, she kept coming back.
But then I wonder,
she liked the chocolate.
I do have to wonder though, when he said I made the wrong choice, I wonder if he really meant it though.
With the girls?
Yeah.
Maybe.
He might have.
Maybe. Because maybe Juliet might have been down for all his craziness.
I mean, she obviously was. She was like, still the thing for me then.
But I like Claire. I felt like Claire was more grounded.
And
I felt like
did
Claire
like her.
was not associated to... The thing with their families would, to me, cause a conflict within the relationship, because it's like,
it's just a lot
she
to
was
overcome.
unaware of everything, but he was so aware, and he's been working on taking her father down. I just feel like it would present such like
it's a lot to overcome. Like, your father killed my father.
Yeah, your father took everything from me, and I'm going to get him, whether you like it or not, and I'm going to use you to get it. So it's like, that's what he did. So I just felt like them being together was not going to work. I just think he said it to get her to believe in him. You know?
I mean, I think he may have meant it a little bit.
Yes.
Because, like, looking at it, Claire was not going to be down for who he was overall. She loved him, but, like, she couldn't... dangerous side, that stuff he was doing. She's
she
like,
wasn't fully
I can't be down for that. And that is just kind of part of who he is.
I don't think any woman was going to be down for it, unless they made a character who was like him.
Juliet seemed to be kind of down for it.
But she wasn't aware of all the stuff he was doing. She wasn't aware of everything he was doing. She liked that he stole the painting,
but she knew like that's what he did. And I mean, I got the feeling from the end of it when he like
she
left.
Might have been down with everything.
She might have.
Maybe.
I mean, now that they were older, I don't know how down. She was like, because this was fun. She was like, but we're too old for that now.
Exactly. That's why I was like.
But I feel like she was more okay with it than like Claire.
Well, yeah,
that part
definitely more
as a means.
And I think because Claire is also a mother, she was like, I don't want anything dangerous happening to my son.
Right.
No, I don't want him involved in this kind of stuff. This is not stuff normal people are involved in. So I think because she's so grounded and down to earth, she's kept it real.
And it was like, I really like that kind of like dive into Claire's like character when she was like seeing like the therapist or whatever. And she was like, well, you just said last week that he's your soulmate. She was like, and you just got the feeling that she was just like, yeah, he is, but it's not something I take joy in. Like, sad. It's like he is, but it's just like, it's something that's overall hurts me rather than, yeah. And I was just like, oh man, that's difficult.
Love.
Yeah.
The pain of love. Yep. But so here's going back to the end episode. So he got away so marvelously. It was perfect. Like, I really thought, because it seemed like all of France's police force was just after him. And I really thought he wasn't going to get away. And I was like, how is he going to get away from this? So he ended up hopping in a boat and like just scooting down, I forget the river that's in Paris.
Seine?
Thames? No.
Seine?
The Thames?
I thought Seine.
Oh, River Seine. Yes, sorry. Seine.
Seine.
Okay. The River Seine, you're right. So he ended up going down there, and then he meets his family, well, Claire and Raoul, and then he says he loved them, but he had to go away.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm not gonna lie, I felt some kind of way about that, because I was just like, I understand he has to go away, but I was like, you just gonna leave your family though? Like, he's like, I don't know when I'm not gonna be around. But I'm like, but this is your son. He's like a kid still. I mean, like, he's a teenager. How you just not gonna be in his life? Like, I felt some kind of way about that.
I think that honestly, he made the best choice, because he had so much stuff going on that I think, it would be the best thing for his family was
for him to be away.
From them, because
his son said, like, he's like,
he brought
my dad's my favorite person. And I was like, but he wants him around. You know what I mean?
I mean, he's still a fugitive, to be honest. Well, so that's not really going to work out well. I mean, maybe they're not like looking at him for murder, but he stole a lot of shit. Arsène, you stole a lot of shit.
Stuff. They don't know all his business.
You stole a lot of shit, dude.
He did a lot of stuff. Yeah, I just loved the ease in which he did it. So,
and I mean, they know about it now. They found. I mean, they probably have like evidence about some of the other shit he stole because of Benjamin's shop. Since he had to leave, because they know.
I wonder what's gonna happen to Ben too. Like,
I think he had to leave as well.
Yeah. Okay. So let's project what will be the next part 3. What will be the next season's thing? Where could they go? Because I was thinking in my mind, I'm like, he can't stay in France.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Paris.
Yeah. I think a new city.
A new city with a new set of issues, new things. Because I was like, now that the
new capers.
I know, but I was like, now that the driving force, because he had a driving force for all these things.
Yeah.
It's get the guy who killed my dad. It's payback. And so I was just like, what is he gonna? Now that everything's resolved, he got the guy who got his father. That's over now. What would convince him and motivate him to keep doing all this stuff and not try to live a regular, normal life?
Well, I mean, he's never really lived. It seems to me that he's never lived a regular, normal life. Like, I think that's the way he's always made his money, was by stealing stuff. Like, I think from the time that he and Ben were young, that's like how they made their money. Like, they set that operation up like a long time ago. I think that's how they both made their money.
Think about it that way. That he's I don't know why I assumed he got a job.
No, because remember, she was like, "So you have a job," and you saw like
a real job.
Exactly. So that tells you, like, I think that that's just all he's ever done is really just got to steal
things
stuff
and getting away with it, and he's the master burglar, as they say.
Yeah, because
I would like to see
at least because Ben was saying like that's how they got the start of the shop was from that one big piece that they stole from that lady, and then I think from there it just like
snowballed.
But that was like the start of their like initial investment.
Okay, so here's what I would like to see. I guess I would like to see like either maybe another person, or maybe he gets hired to do a job, because I imagine like he gets hired to do some stuff, because it's like if he doesn't have any personal vendetta anymore, for you to keep up the show, you've got to have something pulling him. So it's either like, I hope they don't really fall into like, let's get his family again. I don't want that to be a motivating thing.
I don't think it would, because I think that would be a little bit too tired. Yeah, to do that.
I would imagine that they would have to.
I think they're going to do like another flashback and have some other type of incident, some other type of wrong that needs to be righted. It doesn't necessarily have to be in his life. Maybe he's helping someone else, like an old friend.
Maybe. That's interesting. So we're speculating here. But I would like to see him in like another city. I would still like to see like him able to maybe see his son again.
I'm sure he will, because he's still keeping an eye on them.
I would like to see a female Lupin, like just his equal
rival.
That would be cool. Where it's like they both pulling off a job. That would be an interesting little thing to be in the new.
I want to see the helper staying there. I liked him. I thought he was like a little cute. Like, the
little guy.
Cool.
Yeah,
I feel like, and I also feel like since he's gotten a taste for it, it'll be hard to just go back. He's like, let's pull some more stuff, dude.
I know. I would be like, you need me? I'm there. And he's a very good actor. So he was that really episode good. Where they almost found Lupin in the little, the trunks. He really was like, you want to search these things? Come and do it. He was bold. I was like, hey, chill out. Because our guy is in one of these trunks. But he really convinced Dumont to not look into it. And he's like, all right. I was like, man, he pulled that off well. Because I would have been like, oh shit, it's up. Anyway, okay, so let's rate the show. What do you give it, Whitney?
I'm going to give it 10 glasses.
Yay! You get the double 10 glasses from me, too. We gave Lupin 10 glasses. 10 nerdy, blurty glasses, and I think it's deserving. I mean, from the costumes, the setting, the storyline, the capers,
the characters, even the ones you hate, because they do such a good job of making you hate them.
It's all so good. It's so entertaining. You will get sucked in, and I really, really think, even if you listen to us and you learned everything just now, go watch it, because just seeing it unfold is amazing.
It is,
especially that ending episode. I was in awe. I was like, oh my god, this is so great.
Exactly, and the fact. And we didn't even mention the fact that he gets himself in jail.
Yes,
and not by being arrested. He switches places with the guy who's in jail
and got out of jail, and then he got out of the handcuffs too. When they caught him, when his son, when he thought his son died, they caught him, and then he switched places with the police officer in the bathroom.
Yeah,
I was like, how did he do that? It's amazing. You guys are gonna love the roller coaster of fun, and then just like soak up and savor the charm that is Omar Sy. He's just an amazing actor, and I honestly want to see more stuff from him, whether it's in English or not. I really want to see more stuff from him. And so that's our review of Lupin, you guys. Go watch it. Go watch it.
Check it out.
We recommend watching it in original French, but do you if you need the dubbing?
Indeed. Don't forget them subtitles out.
Yeah.
All right. Blerd.
We going out, y'all.
Out.
Bye. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Please subscribe to our show on whatever podcast listening app you use and share the show with other Blerds and non-Blerd family and friends. And if you like our episode, please rate and review us on iTunes.
The intro and outro music is Twilight by Caption. You can find them on SoundCloud, username Caption, spelled CAPSHUN. The show notes are by Bola, Hanson, and the audio engineering is by Whitney Booker.
And you can contact us by email at blerdtalkbw@gmail.com. And also, don't forget to get social, you guys. You can find us on our social media at Instagram and Twitter, with our @handle being @blerdtalkbw. And we've got our individual things going on too, y'all. So you can find me, your Blerd Fashionista, on Instagram and Twitter at BolaStoryB. That's B with 2 E's like the insect. And I've got my own personal YouTube channel, just Bola Sade. That's BOLASHADE. D as in dog, E as in elephant.
And this is Whitney. You can find me at my company, Luminavi Studios. The email address is wit@luminavi.com. That's WHIT@LUMENAVI.com. You can also find me on Twitter at Luminavi Studios.